Here are the top stories for today, December 30, 2020. President Duterte urges Filipinos to foster solidarity, integrity, and patriotism, just like Dr. Jose Rizal. Several lawmakers named by President Duterte deny their link to the alleged corruption activities in the DPWH. The Labor Department says only overseas Filipino workers are allowed to enter the country. And let us take a look on how Gapan, Nueva Ecija bounces back from the pandemic. Good day, I am William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. Today marks the 124th death anniversary of our national hero, Dr. Jose Rizal. Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana, who represented President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, leads the flag-raising and wreath-laying ceremony held at the Jose Rizal National Monument in Rizal Park, Manila. Also present during the event is Manila Mayor Francisco Isko Moreno Dumagoso, National Historical Commission of the Philippines Chairman Rene Escalante, and Knight Grand Cross of Rizal Supreme Commander Sir Elihu Ibanez. President Duterte delivers a virtual message after the flag-raising and wreath-laying ceremonies. He said that as we remember the sacrifices of our national hero more than a century ago, let us continue working together, fostering solidarity, integrity, and patriotism as we pursue real and meaningful change in our society. For his part, Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana reminded everyone of every Filipino's potential to help build a great nation. He said the advocacies of our national hero live on through our defenders of today, from our soldiers to our daily frontliners.
I join the entire nation in commemorating the 124th anniversary of the martyrdom of Dr. Jose Rizal. The trials we continue to face this year have given rise a new breed of heroes who have shown extraordinary courage in the face of unprecedented challenges. Inspired by the noble example of Rizal, our modern-day heroes, let us rekindle in our hearts the strong sense of a nationhood that enabled our forebears to rise against tyranny and build society founded on the lessons taught by history. As we remember Rizal's sacrifice more than a century ago, let us continue working together, fostering solidarity, integrity, and patriotism among our people as we pursue real and meaningful change in our society. Mabuhay si Rizal at mabuhay ang sambayanang Pilipino.
Presidential Communications Operations Office Secretary Martin Andanar urges Filipinos to continue to embody the values and principles that defined Dr. Jose Rizal as we heal, recover, and rise as one nation. Andanar is hoping that Dr. Rizal's legacy of hope, unity, patriotism, valor, and service to the country may continue to burn within the hearts of every Filipino as we face the challenges brought by social ills, natural disasters, and the COVID-19 pandemic. As the country commemorates the 124th death anniversary of Dr. Jose Rizal, let us take a look on how other provinces revered this special day. In Baguio City Mayor Benjamin Magalong, Representative Mark Go, and PMA Superintendent Major General Ferdinand Cartujano lead the wreath-laying rites at the Rizal Monument. Joining them are other city officials, representatives from the Free and Accepted Mason of the Philippines. Coronadal City also commemorates the 124th martyrdom of Dr. Jose Rizal with a special message from their mayor, Eliordo U. Ogena.
Today, as we commemorate the 124 years of Rizal Day celebration, I want everyone to join me in the flashback that will tell our future as Coronadalinos in the realization of Bagong Coronadal. Ano ang Bagong Coronadal? A city that is prosperous and progressive, safe, environmentally friendly, garbage-free, and a beautiful landscape green city.
The Task Force Against Corruption, or TFAC, under the Department of Justice said it will wait if the Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission will refer to them their report on lawmakers linked to corrupt activities. President Rodrigo Duterte earlier named at least 9 lawmakers who allegedly received kickbacks from contractors of the Department of Public Works and Highway Projects. Justice Secretary Menardo Guevara said he has yet to see the report whether its contents are sufficient for indictment. He said if the report is complete, the PACC may directly file it with the Office of the Ombudsman. Aside from lawmakers, Duterte also named a dozen DPWH district engineers linked to the anomalous government projects. PACC Commissioner Greco Belhica earlier said the presidential body against corruption did not specifically investigate members of Congress, but that their names cropped up in the course of the probe. Malacanang said there is nothing malicious about President Rodrigo Duterte naming lawmakers allegedly involved in corruption at the Department of Public Works and Highways. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque said the president himself clarified that they are still under investigation and have not yet been proven guilty.
It's not a trial by publicity dahil ininaw po ni Presidente, they have the presumption of innocence. And these are people who are being investigated. No? So hindi naman sinasabing nagkasala na, pero merong investigasyon ongoing dito sa mga ito.
Roque also rejected the remark made by former Ifugao Representative Teddy Bagilat that Duterte's decision to bear their names was a diversionary tactic to draw attention from some of his close-in security members receiving a COVID-19 vaccine from China.
Siya po ang nagda-diversionary tactic. Sagutin na lang po former Congressman Bagilat. At narito po tayo sa Cordillera ngayon. No? So sagutin nyo lang po. Kung hindi totoo na nanghihingi kayo ng tongpats, sabihin nyo po. No? Pero wag na po natin na palitan pang issue.
Several lawmakers who were named in the corruption activities in the DPWH projects have expressed their willingness to undergo the necessary investigations to clear their name. For Northern Samar 1st District Representative Paul Daza, his records and history show that he even exposed former elected officials and contractors for abandoning projects. He said the accusation may have stemmed from a malicious complaint filed before the PACC by his local political opponents, as he earlier called for an investigation on airing former officials and contractors. Daza urges Duterte and the PACC to expose the names of the complainants, who he said are most likely the supporters of his political opponents. Meanwhile, Misamis Occidental 2nd District Representative Henry Waminal welcomed any investigation on his alleged involvement in corruption within the DPWH. In a statement posted on his Facebook account, Waminal said he was saddened that his name was included in the list prepared by the PACC and made public by President Duterte. Waminal clarified the president's statement that he owned the HSO Construction Corporation, which allegedly has several construction projects in Misamis Occidental. He said he already sold all his shares in accordance with the law and that HSO Construction does not have any projects in all government agencies in Misamis Occidental, including DPWH. For Bataan Representative Geraldine Roman, she said she is shocked to hear her name among those involved in the anomalies. She said she is open to any investigation to establish the truth on this matter. Still to come, travelers from the United Kingdom and 19 other countries are banned from entering the country. And Davao City is preparing for a possible spike of COVID-19 cases due to holiday gatherings. More on these when the PNA Newsroom continues.
Pangalagaan ang sarili laban sa Coronavirus Disease 2019. Hanggat maaari, umiwas sa mataong lugar. Iwasang hawakan ang ilong at bibig, maging malinis sa katawan at ugaliin ang wastong paghuhugas ng kamay. Takpan ang ilong at bibig kung uubo o babahing. Umiwas sa mga taong nagpapakita ng sintomas ng coronavirus disease gaya ng lagnat, ubo at sipon. Magsuot ng face mask kung kinakailangan. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa. Kaya natin to. Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito.
You're still watching the PNA Newsroom. The Philippines on Tuesday banned all foreign travelers from the United Kingdom and 19 other countries and areas from entering the country following reports of a new strain of coronavirus found in the UK. In a memorandum issued by Executive Secretary Salvador Medialdea, President Rodrigo Duterte approved the extension of the temporary suspension of flights and the prohibition of entry on all travelers from the UK until January 15, 2021. All foreign passengers coming from 19 more countries will also be banned from entering the Philippines. Passengers who are already in transit and arrive before 12:01 a.m. of December 30 will be required to undergo a 14-day quarantine period. Meanwhile, the memo directed laboratories at points of entry to submit the specimens of travelers from countries with reported cases of the new SARS-CoV-2 variant to the Philippine Genome Center, Research Institute for Tropical Medicine, and the UP National Institutes of Health. It also directed the RITM to develop a standard operating procedure or response protocol for reports of new variants and strains of COVID-19. Only returning overseas Filipino workers from the United Kingdom and several other countries where there are cases of the new SARS-CoV-2 strain are allowed to enter the country. Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello III said President Rodrigo Duterte decided to allow Filipino workers from these countries provided that they would undergo the mandatory 14-day quarantine. He reiterated that only OFWs are exempted from the travel restriction, but their relatives and other balikbayans are covered by the ban. Bello added that they expect some 60,000 to 100,000 to come home. Bello meanwhile said there is no decision whether to ban the deployment of Filipinos abroad. The Davao City government reminds constituents anew to exercise precautions against COVID-19 as it expects a spike in cases this holiday season. More on this and other news from the provinces from Marita Moae.
The city government of Davao is preparing for a possible spike of COVID-19 cases due to Christmas and New Year gatherings. Mayor Sara Duterte reminded the Baweños to avoid mass gatherings and limit parties or gatherings within the same household. The mayor reiterated her appeal to continue following the health protocols such as wearing face masks, face shields, safe physical distancing, and frequent hand washing. The latest DOH data showed that 60 new cases of COVID-19 were recorded as of December 28, which showed an increase from the 42 cases recorded in the previous day. Meanwhile, the outpatient department of the new Cebu City Medical Center on Tuesday started its operation and opened the first 3 floors of the medical facility. The city government led the inauguration of the first 3 floors of the new building Monday. The opening of the OPD will decongest the old CCMC, which is just across the new building of patients. The other departments and the emergency room are expected to operate in the new building in the coming weeks. In Bataan, Governor Albert Garcia on Tuesday reported that for the first time, no one tested positive for the COVID-19 in the province. The number of confirmed cases remained at 3,651, with lower active cases listed at 77. The number of deaths is still at 78. Those who recovered rose to 3,496. The governor said the cooperation of everyone in complying with the policies and programs of the government to stem transmission within the communities is effective. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Marita Moae.
In our business news, the Department of Trade and Industry eyes the country's ratification of the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP, next year before politicians get busy for the national elections in 2022. DTI Assistant Secretary Alan Gepti said that the RCEP deal will come into force as soon as 9 participating countries ratify the free trade agreement in their respective nations. The 9 participating countries are 6 members of the ASEAN and 3 ASEAN external partners that shall deposit their instruments of approval. RCEP is a trade pact among the 10 member states of ASEAN and the bloc's 5 FTA partners, Australia, New Zealand, China, Japan, and South Korea. The deal was concluded last November 15. The trade official added that DTI ensures the competitiveness of local industries through its current initiatives and programs that are aligned with the RCEP deal. Up next, let us take a look on how Gapan Nueva Ecija bounces back from the pandemic. And we will bring to you a tourism destination in Antique. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders.
Alamin ang mga dapat gawin sa lugar ng trabaho laban sa coronavirus disease 2019. Ang mga kumpanya ay dapat magbigay ng face mask sa kanilang mga empleyado. Bukod dito, magbigay kaalaman din patungkol sa COVID-19. Siguraduhin malinis ang kapaligiran. Maglagay ng sabon at hand sanitizer sa mga palikuran. Siguraduhin ligtas at nalutong maigi ang mga pagkain sa kantina. Obserbahan ang kalusugan ng mga empleyado at katrabaho. Kung sakali man na mayroon silang sintomas ng coronavirus disease, gaya ng lagnat, ubot sipon at hirap sa paghinga, ay agad ipasuri sa doktor. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa, kaya natin to! Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito.
Gapan City in Nueva Ecija was one of the places hit hard by the COVID-19 pandemic. How was Gapan able to bounce back from economic challenges brought by COVID-19 and prop up its affected citizens along the way? More on this from Chris Mundo.
Nueva Ecija is one of the country's biggest producers of rice, thus being named part of the rice granary of the Philippines. In recent years, Gapan City is nicknamed the footwear capital of the North due to its booming industry of export quality slippers. The pandemic has hit the brakes on progress in this province. But in Gapan, constant care from the local government and a positive outlook has helped residents weather the crisis, that is, COVID-19. Small and medium enterprises stopped for most Gapaneños in the first few months that the coronavirus struck, and livelihood was restricted, with fewer customers and even fewer vendors plying their wares out in the streets.
Noong mga panahon na naghiktik dito, sarado kami, wala kaming tinda. Umuwi kami sa bahay. Doon kami nagparaos ng maghapon, araw-araw. Ngayon na lang kami nabalik ulit rito.
But the COVID-19 pandemic still opened opportunities for some who chose to kickstart their livelihood the moment restrictions eased.
Noon pa lang po Lunes kami nag-start. Doon po sa tindahan. Nakakuha po kami ng upahan na tindahan. Niligan po namin ng konting mga paninda, tsaka talipapa, isda, gulay. Ganun po.
There were those who chose to play it by ear and rebuild their momentum to gain customers or at least break even amid the pandemic.
Mahirap po. Nahirapan po kami, bawal po lumabas. Ngayon lang po kami nakaluwag-luwag. Ngayon lang po kami nakapagtinda.
Kailan kayo nakapagsimula?
Ngayon lang po mga December po. Kasi po, mahirap po lumabas. Kahit pa paano po, nakakaraos po kami dito po, sa plaza po. Kahit pa paano.
Pessimism is not unexpected, though. The perceived lack of government support, plus the hopelessness brought by the reality of contending with lower income and fewer customers, was a big blow to some businesses.
Mahirap po kasi tumumol po yung bitahan ng saging, tapos yung po palipat-lipat kami ng area kasi pag bawal po dito, lilipat ka na ng area, tapos bawal ka naman lumabas. Ganon po.
Gapan's situation was different. The local government had gone to great lengths to provide for their constituents.
Yan, nakakaraos po kami kahit paano po nun.
Bulto po na
Isang kaban po yung pinamigay po na aming mayor po. Yun po, nakaraos po kami sa pangaraw-araw. Pero sa puno ko, hirap po kami. Papasalamat po sa mayor po namin.
In the past few months, Mayor Emerson Pascual went viral on social media after he personally distributed relief goods to his constituents when Luzon was placed under enhanced community quarantine. Pascual had a lot of projects in store for Gapan, making sure to reach every sector affected by COVID-19.
Ako, unang-una, ano ba yung pinagkakitaan namin dito? Yes. Siguro, isa sa pinagkakitaan natin yung tsinelas. Yes. Maraming pamilya dito na nabubuhay sa paggawa ng tsinelas na ang plano ko, this coming 2021, ang gagawin ko, mayroong pondo na inilaan para sa kanila na ako mismo ang bibili ng materialis ng tsinelas. Okay? Sa ibang bansa, ipauutang ko sa manggagawa ng tsinelas ng walang tubo. Kung magkano natin binili sa ibang bansa yon, ipauutang ko sa kanila para makagalaw sila ng magandang galaw sa negosyo nila ng walang tubo.
And for this much, many Gapaneños are thankful to their hard-working mayor. Recovering from the effects of COVID-19 is far off, but in Gapan City, everyone is climbing back step by step with a little grit, a little push, and a positive outlook. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Chris Crismundo.
In our foreign news, the United Nations Secretary General appealed for cooperation in tackling global challenges in his year-end address Monday. Antonio Guterres defined 2020 as the year of trials, tragedies, and tears as he called to make peace among each other and with nature, tackle the climate crisis, stop the spread of COVID-19, and make 2021 a year of healing. As he touched on the devastating impacts of COVID-19 around the world, such as a rise in poverty, inequality, and hunger, Guterres highlighted that the new year lies ahead, which he says has rays of hope, saying that both climate change and COVID-19 are crises that can only be addressed together towards an inclusive and sustainable future. He noted that the central ambition of the UN for the next year is to build a global coalition for carbon neutrality by 2050. The number of fireworks-related injuries has significantly dropped this year, with only 14 recorded over 9 days as of Tuesday. The Department of Health said the record is 71% lower than that in the same period last year. The cases were recorded by 61 Sentinel hospitals. 13 or 93% were injured due to fireworks, and 1 or 7% was by a stray bullet injury. The injuries were recorded in Central Luzon, Bicol, Western and Central Visayas, Davao Region, Soc-Sargen, the National Capital Region, and Calabarzon. Among the banned fireworks, the 5-star caused the highest number of injuries with 4 cases, followed by Boga with 2 cases, and Baby Rocket, Bongbong, Fountain, Quitis, Piccolo, Reventador, and Whistle Bomb at 1 each. The municipality of San Remigio in Antique is reopening its premier tourism destination to local tourists starting today, December 30. Mayor Margarito Mision Jr. said the resorts and other tourism spots in Barangay Aningalan, as well as Tubudan and La Union, are ready to welcome visitors. The tourist spots were closed on December 21st due to the 2 confirmed COVID-19 cases reported there. In San Remigio, particularly, the highland of Aningalang is considered as the Little Baguio of Antique. The place is frequented by local tourists for its Ikbaklag cave, the biggest flower rafflesia, and strawberry picking. Here's another look at today's biggest stories. President Duterte urges Filipinos to foster solidarity, integrity, and patriotism, just like Dr. Jose Rizal. Several lawmakers named by President Duterte deny their link to the alleged corruption activities in the DPWH. The Labor Department says only overseas Filipino workers are allowed to enter the country. And let us take a look on how Gapan, Nueva Ecija bounces back from the pandemic. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. To check out more news content, check our webpage or head on to the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. For more stories about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. We are shown on the pages of the PCOO and its attached agencies. Also, watch us on television on PTV4 and IBC 13. And that's your daily dose of the biggest stories that you need to know. From the PNA Newsroom, we tell stories that inspire change. I am William Theo. Good day and Happy New Year to everyone.